Right. So it's very important you know the parameter is variable listed inside of the parenthesis in a function. And the argument is a value that's being sent. It's actually value being sent to the function when it's called. Right? So now I'm trying to give another example, which is a returning function. So returning function, basically, this function will return or use as a specific value. So for example, I trying to redo this one. Okay. So we redo this function. Okay. Value function. So let me just so this one previously we're trying to define this function number one, number two, we sum them up. Then in a function we print them out. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're trying to using the keyword return and return a sum. Okay, now if we're trying to use this function, we can do something like this. Make comment. We're saying trying to print the result of the function addition cow. Okay, then what do? We just say print. Then we call this method, and this method you put the value, for example, 10, 20. All right. Then let's see what's going on. Would be 30. So some people say, how about right now? I just call this. I want to call this method directly. Okay. No any other thing. Say again 10, 20. Let's see anything happening. Nothing happened because in this method, in this block, we do not call adding other method except we return this sum. Okay, and for this one, we just call this one. We put 10 right here. We pass the 10 which as argument to the number one, 20 to the number two. We sum them up and return to the sum, and the sum as a value returned to the method, and this method itself is the result of this sum. Okay, that's the reason if you're trying to use them, we need to do this. Okay, so this is very good example to tell you we can use them as a value. Okay, so we can do something else. Since we say this can be used as a value, we can add 20. So 10 plus 20, then we can add another 20. Would be with 50, right? So even we can put another method. For example, right here, we say I want to define a method. It's a print um, value. In a print value, we trying to do is print line, right? And right here, we don't do the return. We just say we want to print line. Now here, itself, we can just make, how about number one, number two, and right here, we're trying to call another function, which is addition. Now let's call this one. We can call this, then put it here. We're using number one, number number 2. So in here, you need to make sure this number 1 and number 1 should be matched. Since we're using the value which pass through to the number 1 and the number 1 used right here. And as a result of the addition call will be print. All right. So now I need to make sure. So this is another thing. So if we're doing this, let's see anything will return or not. Okay. So right here, I try to call print value 10, 20. Okay. If I do this, plus run, would be 30. Right? It helps you to print out. We didn't call the print method. We just call another method. It can help you to print out, right? So even you, so this basically how we use the return value.